Hello, my name is Dylan Haddix and I'm a professional gambler.
All right, Dylan, we'd like to ask you some questions today. First, we'll start out with the easy ones. Why do you play poker?
So I play poker because obviously you can win money, you can lose money, but usually win money if you're as good as me. And also it adds a bit of thrill to life, just like the excitement of potentially winning a lot of money,
Yeah. Dylan, there's many different types of poker that you can play. And specifically, I want to ask you about blackjack today.
Mm-hmm.
My first question to you as a gambler is, do you like blackjack? If so, if not, why? And why do you play blackjack?
So generally, I do like blackjack when I'm winning in blackjack. You don't win every time, obviously, but blackjack's I like playing blackjack more than I like playing poker because you have the potential to win a fuck ton of money or lose a fuck ton of money. It's more volatile, which means it has a higher chance to pay a lot or you can just lose everything. So,
What's the most important thing to know about playing Texas Hold'em or blackjack?
So it's all about a lot of the basics are about memorization, memorizing what hands beat other hands or what to do if in blackjack you hit, you stand, you hit or stand or double. And after that it's just mostly for Texas Hold'em is mostly just reading the people you're playing against, just being good at reading body language and stuff. Blackjack is just pretty much after memorize what to do in certain situations, unless you want to start counting cards. That's pretty much all there is, and you just it's pretty basic.
Yeah, you mentioned that you're a professional gambler, which means you probably have had a lot of experience playing blackjack and Texas Hold'em. What would be your advice to any beginner gamblers out there who are interested but maybe not really familiar with the game? What would be your advice?
So my advice would be honestly just don't start, but if you really want to start, because gambling always eventually ends in a loss, right? You probably heard that, but it's actually true. I just say if you want to start playing Hold'em or blackjack, I just so there's a lot of online sites where you can play blackjack, but I'd recommend with Texas Hold'em just playing it with your friends for little amounts of money. Say you guys buy in $5, that's not a lot of money to lose, it's not a lot of money to win. It's just kind of casual like that, and then you can work your way up to bigger bets and everything. Same with blackjack, just go online, look up where can I play blackjack online, and just start with $5-10 and just build your way up from there if you really want to win a lot of money or lose all your money.
So tell us a little bit about your journey. Where have you started coming from, playing Hold'em with friends and working your way up to more sophisticated forms of gambling, online, sports, other various aspects of the sport? Where do you stand, and do you have any stories you could tell us?
So where I very first started, I would always go over to my neighbor's house, throwing $5 to $20, play some Hold'em, play some casual blackjack, win a bit, lose a bit. And then I started stuff kept popping up on my TikToks of online gambling. And this is actually a true story. I've made tens of thousands of dollars online gambling, and I've lost all of that as well. I haven't lost any of my real money. I've broken even total, and I stopped online gambling. I've just gone back to playing with my neighbors, but I've made tens of thousands and lost tens of thousands, and then that's where I am today.
So, with that being said, would you consider yourself to be a wise gambler? And what would be your advice that you would give to people who are possibly addicted to gambling, who have an unhealthy relationship with it? Do you consider yourself or previously have been that way? What would your advice be?
So to answer the first question, I don't think there's a such thing as a wise gambler. I think there's safe and risk gamblers. Safe gamblers are people that don't throw in a lot of money. They play really games Hold'em where you can't really lose a lot of money really quickly. And then the risky gamblers where that's the blackjack right there, and then also like slots and roulette and stuff like that. I would consider myself a very risky gambler because I like to either win a lot of money or just lose a lot of money, you know? I don't really like to like play for a long time necessarily. And then for people with gambling addictions, I did have a gambling addiction pretty hard. That's what I was telling you about, online gambling. And then I just kind of stopped after I lost all the money that I had won. And my advice to people with gambling addictions would just to like take a step back and just see how much money you've lost and ask yourself, is it worth it? Just for like a bit of excitement, you know?
So talk to me about bet size. Do you encourage increasing your bet size or keeping it the same? And what are the ramifications for that?
So it all depends on like how much you want to get into it. Say like you're just casually just like trying to go over and have fun with your friends, but they're gambling, so you want to do it too. I'd say keep it small. If you actually like are interested in like picking it up on the daily basis or like regularly, it all depends on how much you're willing to lose. Like I'd say only like bet as much as like you're willing to lose without like it being like life changing or like as like without it being enough so that like it won't hurt, you know? It's just like just bet what you're willing to lose. Like don't go over that. Like even if you do lose, don't go over that. Don't put in more money, because then that just gets to the point where you could lose like all your money like that you have.
So should you expect to lose? What does it look like going in? You know, putting down a 5-leg parlay or, you know, $20 on a blackjack hand.
So a lot of people see like a bunch of like TikToks of people winning like 5-leg parlays or something crazy and like winning a lot of money. In reality, it's a very, very low chance for that. You should absolutely go in expecting to lose, so that it, for two reasons. So that if you win, it feels that much better, and if you lose, it doesn't feel like as bad because you went in expecting to lose that money, right? So you should absolutely go in expecting to lose, because it's a lot of things are rigged against you to lose in gambling. So yeah.
You know, consider the people you play with, you know, at your neighbor's house. For example, Ridge Willard, right? A very successful at the table. Do you consider his success to be skill? Is it luck? Is it both worlds? What would you say about his game?
So I've played blackjack with him before, and he doesn't have the best mechanics, so I will say it's a lot of luck, because that's all it comes down to eventually. When you hit a certain skill ceiling in these games, it's all luck. But he still doesn't know all the basics, so I'd say it is a lot of luck, and he might be the luckiest dude I know. So yeah.
Talk to me about skill in gambling, like perhaps Hold'em. Is that a game of skill, or is it a game of luck?
So it goes both ways. You have to be lucky and skillful. Like you can't be skilled, and then if you get super unlucky, you just won't win anything, right? Because you'll just not get good hands. But you can't be really lucky and not skilled, because then you won't read the table. If someone has, like, there are certain tells. If you can tell that someone has something better than you, if you don't have skill, you won't fold, and then you'll just lose a lot of money going in on a hand. So I think it's a game that requires both, but at a certain point, it stops being about skill and all about luck for blackjack and Hold'em.
I have one more question for you. So, as a single guy, right, as you look into the future, say you get married and have a family, do you think a behavior, being like single and only really responsible for yourself, do you think that getting married and having other responsibilities changes your perspective on gambling? Or do you still see yourself being riskier when having to provide for other people?
So it definitely changes the perspective, because then you like, if you lose like a lot of your money, you only have like, that only impacts you really, right? But if you get married, it impacts your wife as well and someone you love. So I'd say it definitely does, but like not if you have a lot of money, because I know like married people that like are gambling addicts, but they have a lot of money as well, and they can afford that, and they can afford to support their family as well, as that's kind of just like a pastime they do, but like with a lot of money. I say it definitely does. And if you like, when you get married, I'd say just like kind of back up, like see like what happens if you like have the money to afford it, like go ahead, go for it. But you check with your like obviously your wife first before. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your favorite part of playing poker and your least favorite part.
So this one's actually pretty straightforward. My least favorite part is losing money, and my favorite part is winning money. So it's just the excitement of winning money. If you're like playing poker with like 8 people, and you're like that one person out of the 8 people that like won the hand, that's pretty rare, you know? And it's just like the excitement of winning like a big hand like that. Yeah, so that's my favorite part.
So some people may associate these games with like greed and just playing it for money. What do you have to say about that? And is it all about the money?
So for some people it is. I wouldn't say that's like a majority of like gamblers and or gambling addicts. They don't do it for money. They do it because it gives them like adrenaline. It gives them excitement. It's also like on a lower scale. It's a good way to just kind of get together with your friends and hang out, you know, and actually have something to do. So I'd say like some people do it for money, right? It is a really greedy game, but a lot of gamblers do it strictly for like adrenaline, excitement, everything. That's how I am personally. I don't necessarily do it for money, even though it's nice getting money from it. It's mainly about the excitement.
Tell us a little bit more about where you play Texas Hold'em, when do you play it, and for the beginners out there, how do you play, you know, poker and blackjack? Tell me a little bit about the actual game.
Okay, so starting off like where I play and like when I play it, I don't play it too often. I play it like a couple times a month maybe. I just go over to my friend's house, throw $20 to $50 down, just kind of play for a few hours, hang out with them. Usually have some like sports on the TV in the background. It's actually a pretty good time. And then how to play Texas Hold'em, like kind of like what the game is. So like there are 5 cards, right? It's kind of like you have 2 cards in your hand, there are 5 cards out on the table, and you try to match like pairs, and like if you get like 5 suited cards, that's good too. It's just kind of like a matching game almost, you know? Blackjack, it's a bit different. So basically it's you against the dealer. You're not playing against your friends, it's you against the dealer. You're trying to see who gets closer to 21 without going over. So that's a bit how like the games are played.
Nice. So what do you think about these games being played with actual money? Are they just purely entertainment to play with friends, or do you think there should be money involved?
I think there should absolutely be money involved, because without money, there's no risk. So you probably have heard the phrase, like, I'm just going to go all in, right? It's just like when you put all your money on, like, you bet all your money on one hand. And it would just be that over and over if you weren't, like, if you're not, like, risking losing anything important to you. Same with blackjack. I just feel like there has to be money involved for it to be, like, fun with your friends. I mean, people, like, it's all opinionated. People might think differently, but that's just what I think.
So, given that in the game of blackjack, there's the players and then there's the house, do you enjoy being the house? Why or why not?
Generally, I don't enjoy being the house as much, because you have less control over how the game goes. So you can't choose whether to hit or bust. That being said, the house does have an edge. Like, I think 70% of the time the house wins. So it's always nice being the house, but it could always not go your way, and people could make a lot of money off of you if you're playing blackjack like that.
So what keeps you coming back to the table and playing Texas Hold'em, playing blackjack, or even online aspects? What keeps you coming back to the gambling aspect?
So I personally like gambling because it's a lot of excitement, kind of like being willing to like risk losing money, and also it's a lot of excitement just winning a lot of money, like I've said. And it's just kind of like when I go over to my friend's house, it's just having a good time with my friends. Online, it's a bit different. It's a bit more like degenerate, you might say. It's just the fact that like I've won a lot of money online, like an unfathomable amount of money online, and I've also lost a lot, and it's just like it's kind of hunting for that next like big win, you know? That's what keeps people coming back, online at least.
You talk about a big win, and earlier you talked a little bit about how you started off with like $5. What's the relationship between, you know, winning more and betting more? How have you seen that be part of your journey? as a gambler? Just the winning big being a motivation to bet more. Has that been a problem for you?
Oh, it's absolutely been a problem for me before. So the more you win, so let's go back to the online part. Say I do like a slot buy for $100, I win $1,000, right? That encourages me because like if I do another one for another $100 and I make like $200, even though I made profit, it doesn't feel like as much because I have more that I won earlier. So instead, you could throw in like $1,000 and then win like $2,000. It's a lot more money. So you keep increasing the bet size. But as you increase the bet size, you increase how much you could lose. So I could throw in $1,000 and lose everything. It's just really risky. It's a problem for a lot of people. They keep like upping their bet size, and eventually like you'll lose. Eventually it'll pay nothing, and then they just lose everything that they won, and they're mad at like the game instead of being mad at themselves for not stopping. It's like problem of like not being able to stop.
That's pretty much all the questions. We just like to ask you about any specific stories, things you've hit, money you've made. Just have at it with the gambling stories.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna go over a couple kind of like my biggest wins and my biggest losses. So I was in my dorm room at college, right? And my roommate was looking over my shoulder because I was just like, I threw in like $100, $200 into an online gambling site, as you would, you know, because I just hit like $1,000, right? So, and he's watching me as I go from $200 up to $1,000, up to $5,000, up to $10,000. And then I decided instead of cashing out that $10,000, I do a $10,000 slot bonus buy. And I went right back down to 300 and then right back down to like $20. So that's probably my biggest win and my biggest loss. I've also done multiple 50-50s, which are just like a coin flip to double your money or lose it all. I think the biggest coin flip I've ever hit was $2,000. And the biggest one I've ever missed, I think, was only $800. So those are probably my biggest wins and losses.
Do you ever withdraw those or wish you had acted differently then?
So after the fact, I do wish I had withdrawn them, but in reality, I'm the one that made the choice not to. So can't really blame it on anyone other than myself. I mean, I've withdrawn more than that. I've withdrawn thousands of dollars, put in thousands of dollars. It just depends on how I'm feeling. If I'm like, okay, this is like a life-changing amount of money for me, I need to take this out, I'll just take it out. If it's like, if I'm just like feeling like in like a mood or something, I'll just keep going, and then that's just not in the end good for me because I end up losing it all.
And then one last question. I think everybody here wants to know, where are you in your gambling journey now? Are you way positive, way negative, or somewhere in between?
So as I was telling you about that story that I won like tens of thousands of dollars, lost tens of thousands of dollars. So I started off hot, right? I started off winning a lot of money, like tens of thousands of dollars. And then after that, I got super confident, super cocky, started throwing in about $1,000 a day onto this online site. And eventually I just lost all the profit I'd made. I broke even, and that's when I decided to stop gambling. I didn't lose any money from it. I didn't really win any money from it either. And then nowadays, all I do is like $20 to $50 on like with my friends and everything. I think I'm about even on that, maybe down a little bit, but it's not like a significant amount of money, like couple hundred dollars. So yeah.
All right. Thank you for participating in this interview.
Absolutely.
This is Dylan Haddix.